This is Up for Debate, episode number 307, recorded February 12th, 2026. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by a real super guy. It's Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
Buenos noches, Senor Sean. K-Tal.
Bonjour, fromage. Yes, sir. We're just again. If you want to listen to Up for Debate in Spanish, use the SAP button on your remote. Yeah, we're back after the Super Bowl. Matt, are you feeling nice and super?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty super. I think I feel super after most Super Bowls. Not physically, not like I should say, not like my body doesn't feel super after the Super Bowl because just eat all this junk. But I think there's a super natural element to the Super Bowl when I drank a lot of water. I think that's the key. Drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, and you can survive the Super Bowl.
Now, Matt, I don't think we've ever talked about this in depth too much. New Jersey, not too long ago, legalized sports gambling. Did you put any, forgetting about our bets, did you put any bets down on the Super Bowl?
Actually, I did, Sean, and I'm an idiot. So
Yes.
I did what's called bet hedging, where like the bet instead of betting the things that I bet on our show and like doubling down on them, I bet like very different things. For example, the Gatorade color, Sean.
Yeah.
You remember what did I say it was going to be on our show?
Oh, that's
Famously,
yeah.
we'll get to it, but let's just say, had I agreed with myself, I would have won more money than if I said, purple is worth more, or clear. I'm going to go for clear, the dark horse candidate. I bet on both and lost both times. So I'm very bad at betting, Sean, and I did not have good outcomes on the Super Bowl. But yeah, I guess I'll kind of go into what I did you place any wagers on the show on the
I threw some legs into some group parlays at the party, which is now a big thing I'm asked to do often by different people, where it's like, pick one leg and we'll all throw in a leg and do a parlay. And not to pat myself on the back, I'm very good at selecting a narrow bet that if you bet on its own, it's not going to make you any money, but I tend to not be the losing leg. So I did okay. We didn't win any of the bets because there was always some clown who would pick some crazy thing. But no, I did not win any money.
Oh, so you did like the friendly, like you did the family friendly party betting. I call it, like,
yeah, where everyone's like, okay, you do a leg and
It's
you do a
nice.
leg and you do a leg, and we make a 4 or 5 leg parlay. And so your odds
That's
to obviously you win a lot more money, but you're putting your faith in other people.
Yes. I contrast that with like the parasocial slime person online betting, which is what I engaged in. And I don't go crazy. I put like maybe like a 20 here, 10 there, something, like nothing like insane. But
Yeah.
my main which did not hit it, and I wasn't even close to hitting, but I had I had the Seahawks covering the spread, which they did. I had a big I predicted a big day for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
That did not come to fruition whatsoever.
No.
Matter of fact, he was concussed, I think, for a good proportion of the game and was not even on the field. I think I predicted his anytime touchdown, which did not hit. I predicted a yardage, which he didn't even come close to going to the under. I think it was over. He was over. It was like over 70 receiving. He didn't even clear 20. Over 8 completions. He got, I think, 2 all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and all that was a parlay. So that actually, I think the only bet I did get was that I bet the under on Ramondre Stevenson, and that landed because Patriots
Well, you could
rushing
have bet the under on
touchdown.
anything for New England in one.
Yeah, unless really anything for both teams except for field goals. That was the
and Kenneth Walker. Well, and that's where. So my big bet throughout the whole season was running back receptions, where if you know what you're doing, you know the team, you know their style. They put really good odds on like I think the line for Kenneth Walker was like 2.5 receptions. And I know that team, and I know the Patriots, Christian Gonzalez is going to have the guys covered. They're not going to have guys open. I'm like, 2.5 all day, which he did. He was over. But I did that with a bunch of guys throughout the seasons with running back receptions with teams who will throw to. The Rams do that a lot with their guys, a few other teams. So I didn't win because it was parlay. Only got my leg right, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe Matt, maybe next year for when we do this, we'll have to do an up for debate parlay.
Those parlays will kill you. Yeah. I did not AI a song from from the Monday Night Football guy this time, but
yeah, with the
there's
losing
I guess
story.
there's no post Super Bowl song, you know. It's what were overall your thoughts of the big game?
Super Bowl 60 now in the books. Matt, it's a good question. My overall thoughts on the entire evening. Everything all in, pretty good. Pretty good. I think maybe the game was I don't think it was that bad of a game. I really don't. Because if you define a game based on like level of football quality, I don't know that makes a good game. I think the storylines were interesting enough. Darnold was playing well, and I think it was, all due respect to the Patriots, a little fun to watch them collapse. Like, it was the kind of loss that wasn't boring. It was like there were sometimes you're like, why did he do that? Type of stuff. Is the kicker going to be the MVP? Like all this kind of stuff. I think it was entertaining enough. It wasn't like a defensive slog where both teams were bad. It was just odd, and I'm okay with odd. I think odd is fine. I think, and we'll talk about the details. The halftime show I thought was excellent. The commercials I thought were okay. I thought NBC did a great job broadcasting the event. And all in all, I'll remember this as being a great Seahawks, a very likable, good Seahawks team who deserved to win the Super Bowl, who are arguably the best team in the league, and who I'm kind of happy they won. What are your high level thoughts?
Yeah. I think that this Super Bowl it was the most Thursday night football vibes that I felt from a Super Bowl, and I don't mean that necessarily like pejoratively. I just mean that Thursday night games tend to be weird. Like there's some weirdness to them. Like
100%.
Both teams don't seem like they're playing at full tilt. Not that was the case here. I think both teams were giving it their all, but they seem to be a little more mismatched than your Sunday night or your Monday night primetime games. It's the awkward middle child of the primetime games, right? Of the Sunday night, the Monday night, the Thursday night. There's just like something quirky about the game. And this was a very quirky Super Bowl. Yeah. It seemed like going into halftime, the Seahawks were up by quite a bit. The Patriots had not even scored, but it also seemed like it was not a foregone conclusion yet that Seattle had
Absolutely
it locked
not. Absolutely not. No, it
really
was a
not
gradual
until the very
decline. The Pats were not terrible in the first quarter. Even the second quarter was slow. They weren't completing their drives. But it's not like the wheels didn't fall off until late in the third. It was 9-0 at the half, which is a totally reasonable score to come back from.
Right. It was. It didn't look like a foregone conclusion. I think really where they kind of clinched it. I think for me it was when May threw the pick six. That was kind of was that he threw it or it was like.
No, it was a clean throw. He didn't get hit. He threw that ball and he was just lost in the sauce, and he had been pressured like crazy all night against that O-line that's not particularly good, and he should have taking the sack or throwing it away, and instead he just sort of heaved it, didn't know what he was looking at, and threw it right to the
Yeah.
Seahawks. I mean, that's my Patriots story for this Super Bowl is they were an okay team. They got really lucky in the playoffs by CJ Stroud completely imploding and enough snow and Jared Stidham in Denver to make it to the Super Bowl. They should not have been in the Super Bowl. They were not the best team in the AFC. I think Denver could have given the Seahawks a much better run than the Patriots did. And that's fine. That's fine. It's okay to be an okay team in the Super Bowl and lose to a better team. If this were a regular season game, we'd say Patriots just had a bad game.
Yeah.
They're an improving team. They're a young team. They're going to get better. Just so happen to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But it was entertaining. I mean, I was rooting all night for Marist alum, Jason Myers. I mean, that was pretty
The
cool.
real MVP. The real, and let's be honest,
Mhm.
he should have been the MVP. He scored 15 points, more than the Patriots in total.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And then, of course, like you mentioned, the narratives were with Sam Darnold and his redemption from lowly Jets mononucleosis infected QB, seeing ghosts against the Patriots. It's just what a storybook ending here. Well, not even the ending because he still has definitely more years ahead of him. But a storybook comeback for him being on 5 different teams.
Absolutely. No, I'll shout out Kenneth Walker, who has been an excellent running back his entire career. He's been a workhorse. He's had injuries and he's come back, and everyone says, well, he's going to get hurt. Or, he's just okay. And you know what? He's a damn good player, and from all accounts, a great guy. And for him to win and be the Super Bowl MVP and be the without him, I think the Seahawks would have had a much tougher road. So, especially with their backup Charbonnet getting hurt, Walker kind of had to shoulder that whole team. I think he deserves a ton of respect. What a great story there. Why don't we pivot right into that then? We talked about the game a bit. Let's talk a little bit about the halftime show. Bad Bunny and his ode to his homeland of Puerto Rico, which I'm told is a U.S. territory. Fun fact. And so, Matt, what did you think of the halftime show?
I thought, okay, so like going in, I preface it with I had barely really heard of Bad Bunny before this show, and that I don't speak Spanish, but I very much enjoyed the halftime show. This to me was really one of the better ones that I've seen recently. I wouldn't say it was my all-time favorite, but I would say it's very high. I have a very high opinion of it. What would you say, Sean? What did you think?
Listen, I agree. I said on our last episode what I look for in a good Super Bowl, or what I'd like to see in Super Bowl halftime show, is a narrative, a story, and spectacle. I don't want a stage a person sings and dances on for 13 minutes. I think this absolutely checked that box. I think it was clever, visually interesting, one of those how did they do it type things, which I love. It was a narrative, the real couple getting married, all of the Puerto Rican references, like the guys on the power lines. It was high energy, it was fun, but it was also meaningful, and you could tell there was a passion around it. And it does lean me back a little bit to The Weeknd, who did his halftime show in Tampa Bay years ago. And that was another show where I said, wow, the artist really took the time to put themselves into it and design something unique, which I feel like isn't always the case. And so I feel like Bad Bunny really did that. It really did feel like it was a unique, interesting show. And I hope other artists in the future take into account that you don't just have to set up a stage and sing and dance on it. You can do more, think outside the box. The fact that it was in Spanish didn't matter. It could have been in Korean. It's an interesting show. It was visually interesting. It was upbeat. It was fun. And by the way, I think that was the challenge Bad Bunny had. Because it's in Spanish, it has to be visually interesting because a lot of the listeners are not going to speak that. So, and I think that was accomplished. So all in all, I would say this was a highly successful show. And I hope it's a prototype of shows to come in future years.
Yeah, I actually heard someone today put it in a very interesting perspective that I hope I help more people view it like this. It was like he said, for years and years, for centuries, really, people have been going to the opera without speaking Italian or French or German, and yet they enjoy the opera, you know, because you don't need to
Absolutely.
know what is being said. You just kind of know you get the emotional impact of what is being said, and and that can make the entire difference. I mean, look at silent pictures. That's for years people watch films, silent films, and that's a story being told without any verbal words at all. So you don't need to speak the language to understand the message being communicated, to understand the significance of the cultural scenes being depicted, and to understand, I think, what it means to a lot of people out there who um are getting to experience a halftime show in their language. It's pretty cool. It's what America's all about, and I enjoyed it very, very much.
Yeah, it was great. I'm curious who they're going to bring in next year, but this sort of recent choice of Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny tells me that the NFL wants to create buzz. They want somebody who's interesting, who has something to say, and I think that bodes well for the future. I'm curious who they might bring in, but again, just an incredible thing to do in real time in 13 minutes, live on a football field.
Probably no surprise, right? To most people out there, but ever since 2016, I think there has been more of a social and political driven halftime show. I think we can't really debate that. I don't remember before that the halftime show being as politically or socially activating or motivating as those. I mean, in other ways, maybe you could say like they had that military parade during was the 90 or 91, the salute to our troops. You could
That's
say
right.
that
The
was.
halftime salute to kids with New Kids
Yeah.
on the Block. Yeah, absolutely. No, the Super Bowl halftime's interesting because it kind of goes through eras, right? In the end, I won't go all the way back, but late '90s, you kind of have that hyper pop era with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears, obviously ending with Nipplegate. Then we go into the old timers: Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, broken up by Prince. Then they get into the sort of let's go as wide as possible in pop. The Black Eyed Peas, Madonna, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Katy Perry, Coldplay, Lady Gaga, all the way through Maroon 5, which was kind of a disaster. The Maroon 5 show was an awful, awful show. And I think that was when they started to pivot into, okay, let's get people who are a little more unique. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, The Weeknd. The first one that Apple Music sponsored and was produced by Rock Nation was the Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, LA halftime, which was loved. And after that, you had Rihanna, Usher, Kendrick Lamar, and now Bad Bunny. So there definitely is a pivot. I totally agree with you that they want buzz. I mean, the clip of Bad Bunny. I was reading this. The clip of Bad Bunny performing became the NFL's most viewed clip in the history of the NFL being a social media property. So clearly there's an interest there.
Yeah. Speaking of creating a lot of buzz, how about those commercials? How'd you feel about the commercials
Uh,
overall?
Matt, I couldn't be more over Super Bowl commercials. They have wrung every bit of fun out of it, from the teasers weeks in advance, like it's a goddamn movie release, to the fact that everyone has a celebrity cameo for no reason, to the fact that they're just retreading things they've already done. And it used to, maybe one or two made me chuckle this year, and not that they have to be funny, but um it was I'm an advertising guy, and I'm so over the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Please save me, Matt. Tell me that's not true.
I wanted to ask you what this year, this has been easily the worst year of Super Bowl ads that I remember. Of the three main things, the game, the halftime show, the Super Bowl ads, it's almost like it's hard to have all three in a row. Like, you know, it's like one of those things where you have to pick two. You can get like
Yep.
a good game. This year I think we had a good game. We had an excellent halftime show, and I think we just got a garbage slew of AI crap. Like the commercials were terrible. Like I don't know. Not memorable, not fun. Even the ones that were supposed to be fun were just blatant AI use that was just disgusting to me. I just thought it was all bad. It was all bad. Really.
Yeah, and it was your usual mix of like there was like the Lay's potato chip like heartfelt farmers ad where I'm like I don't really want that. There was the sort of like crazy over the top like the Nerds one with Andy Cohen, or the Raisin Bran with Will Shat telling you to eat your fiber. To like you said, the Coinbase Backstreet Boys were in 2 commercials this year. They were in 2 commercials. They were in the Coinbase one and then they were in the T-Mobile one. I mean, there's just no creativity anymore.
I will say, I think it was the Coinbase one. That was the only one that kind of the idea behind it sparked my interest. But I think it was a weird execution when it was the karaoke on the screen and then like meant for people to like sing along. But then in the end, they kind of like messed it up. They kind of like departed from their song and just like kind of just ran the ad as if you were gonna like sing. And the ad wasn't like musical. It wasn't like
Right.
it was just like and we will use Coinbase because it is good. It was that was the only one that I think they get a little bit, they get some credit for the creativity, but I wish it was a little bit better executed is all.
I just don't know why you would spend upwards of $5 million and put out this stuff. Like it didn't even have to be some of these. I'm trying to think of the ones I liked. I liked the I did like the Guy Fieri Bosch one.
Yeah.
Where he's like the regular plain guy and then he become, I'm just regular guy and now I'm Guy. Like it was clever enough. Like I'm not gonna say it like broke new ground, but it did make me chuckle, and he did look very funny with that haircut, looking like a regular guy.
He did. That was okay. What about the Duncan one? The Duncan one's like that seems to be the one that
Goodwill
most people
Duncan?
are talking. I feel like that really backfired on them though, because it got buzz, but not the right amount, and mostly negative. Like
I haven't heard one way or the other. I just think it was more of a confusing concept. Like it was too much in its own head, where I felt like I needed to watch it a couple times to figure out what exactly was going on. You know what I mean? Like the thing about a Super Bowl ad is it's going to air once during the game in a slew of other ads. And so it's not like it's been running like a regular commercial's been running for weeks. You get it because you've seen it 8 times. You got to get the story across point to end and have it be a complete thought. This to me is, and I went back and I watched it on YouTube. And I'm like, all right, it makes a little more sense the second time around. I get what they're going for. Like, I liked it better on the second viewing, but the first viewing, it came and went so fast. I'm like, what did I just watch?
yeah, to me, in recent memories, one of the ads I really enjoyed were the Tide ads that are like embedded in other ads.
That was very
The
clever.
year they did
Absolutely.
that was very clever, very funny, and very memorable. Where it was like ads for other things, and then it was like, this is actually a Tide ad. And I like that. I like that. And of course you had the celebrities in there too, but yeah, wow. Just I don't know. I'm not this just bad. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe these commercials. They were like all bad.
What about the other one I did chuckle at, and just because I'm more of an advertising guy, is the Pepsi polar bears, which are obviously the Coke polar bears in the commercials about how much they like Pepsi now. Not a great ad, but also not the worst.
Yeah, you could kind of see there was an interesting, but it was all. I think it was still AI, right? It didn't seem like it was a
Hey,
genuine.
listen, it's hard to tell.
It's these days. These days it is, but a good idea. I mean,
Um,
I guess points for creativity there too.
yeah, I'm a lot of them were eye rolling. That is certainly the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see the Manscaped one where the pubic hair sings?
That was a commercial. That was this year. From this year.
I'll have to send you a link. So it's Manscaped, and it's little pile. It's like guys shaving their beard and shaving their whatever, their chest, and the little hair shavings like have eyes and a mouth, and they sing a song.
I would have definitely remembered that, and I don't. So maybe
Yeah,
I was.
I'll have to send you a link. That one I was like, oh boy. There was also the singing toilets one for Liquid
Okay,
IV.
yeah, I remember that one. That was just stupid. That just was just like
Awful.
kind of. But you know what? I will say though, it was stupid. But that reminded me the most of an old school Super Bowl ad.
True.
The singing
True.
toilet.
Well, I liked.
Seemed like it was. It could have been comfortable in the early 2000s, late 90s.
I'm thinking of who was the one. Oh, Liquid Death had the one where the heads explode.
Yeah,
And that one felt kind of like an old school Super
Yeah.
Bowl ad to me as well, where warning, be careful, but with ours your head won't explode. And I was like, okay, I get it.
I want to
Guaranteed to
say
not explode your head.
I feel like Airheads had a similar commercial, but like not as graphic.
Right? No,
in
it was
the Super
graphic,
Bowl.
but I
Yeah.
got a little hoot out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting overall, Matt. What do you say we talk about really what everybody's here for?
The main event.
The main event, our Super Bowl prop bets. This is I counted wrong. This is technically our 11th time doing it. At 10 super, but it's because we did 50 to 60, so it's technically whatever. You have won 7 of them. 5, 6, 7, 6 of them. I have won 4 of them. That's our grand record. What will happen this year, Matt? Let's go through it in order. Starting with the national anthem, Charlie Puth, the over/under of 2 minutes. How do you think he did?
So I missed the national anthem. I think I was maybe when I was going out to get the pizzas. I got several boxes of pizza and some wings, and I think I was in transit on the way back when the anthem played, so I did not get to see it. How did my guy Charlie Perth? Charlie
Puth.
Puth. How did he do?
Number one, I'm coming to your house next year for the Super Bowl.
Pizzas and wings.
Sounds great.
Pizzas
Sounds great. Did you have a big party?
Like 10, maybe 10
Okay.
to 12, something like that. Yeah.
Very legit.
All
Okay.
gathering.
I liked it. It was a little more casual. Wasn't hitting big notes. It was a little more smooth in that respect. He played the keyboard along with it, and chugged. Certainly for the first half of the song. It was pretty obvious he was going to land under. And he did in fact land under. It depends, because he started with a before words, if you count that or don't, but he was definitely under 2 minutes either way. This was my I hated this pick the most of all of mine of this bet list. I should have taken over. It was really stupid of me to not do that. Because that would have been a really easy point for me to score. Matt, you took the under, so you got your first point on the board with the national anthem.
What did you say? What was the total again? The grand.
It was. So I counted 152 without the sort of humming at the beginning when he started speaking words. I've seen other people do it around 156, 157. It was definitely under 2 minutes. He was not slow at all.
Yeah. I don't know. This is having no prior knowledge of the artist, just his genre, his style of music. I thought as a contemporary pop kind of artist, I figured it would be a little shorter. That was what I was going off of.
Yeah. Well, it was a good pick. So that's your first point. Now, after that was the coin toss with the commemorative coin. And, this is an interesting one because you can easily win 2-0. We can split the point. You know what they say, Matt? Heads never fails. Heads which was my pick, and then I picked the Patriots to win it, and they did. So I picked up 2 quick points right at the start, bringing us to a 2-1 score.
Indeed, that was one of the
You,
that was one of the ones I did not hedge my own bet. I bet with myself and lost twice.
yeah, regrettable. We're about 50-50 if you look over the history of doing this for the last number of years. Heads this year, but then tails, heads, tails, heads, heads, tails,
You know what?
tails, heads.
I never thought of this, Sean. I think what I'm going to do for next year is I'm going to actually flip a literal coin and then just
Hey,
pick whatever it says, because I
couldn't
don't know
hurt.
why I just decide in my head random. I just let's let the coin do the work. From now on,
Couldn't hurt.
that is how I'm going to make all of my decisions. But this one in particular.
according to the Stadium PA announcer, that coin is now in the Smithsonian for America 250. So then we got into the game, Matt. We had a number of bets here, things that could happen during the game. First, what was the first play of the game? You went out on a limb on this one. You said pass. I said run. Unsurprisingly, it was a run. I picked up a point there, going up 3-1.
And I think that was my dumbest bet of the night. Was
I would agree,
because I don't know. I have no idea. I think I had it. I had it in my head that it would be Seahawks ball, and I kind of just thought Darnold would try a short pass up the. I have no idea why I try to pick apart the Patriots early, but I don't know. That was a really dumb one. I should have thought about that more.
Well, it burned both of us, because what happens is you picked first on the anthem and took under. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to take over. And then I got to pick first on the next one. I took run, and you're like, I guess I have to take pass. So it kind of evened out.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget that we can just bet the same in some categories.
And we did on one of them.
No fun in that, you know?
Yeah. So a loss there for you puts me up 3-1. The next bet, will a kickoff or punt be returned for a touchdown? And then I gave you a bonus point if it's Shaheed doing it. And the announcers all night said, look out for Shaheed. Look out. And by the way, credit to, I wish I knew that, remember the name of the punter for the Seahawks, who was burying the Pats ball at the 4-yard line all night long. That guy is awesome.
Talk about MVP prospects. Michael Dixon.
Yes.
I believe was his name. Yeah. He made a name for himself on
he was incredible. Yeah. A big part of their win, I would argue, because Pats could never dig out of that field position.
He was pretty solid in the NFC Championship too. He was doing that to the Rams, and that could have made the difference to get them to the Super Bowl.
100%. Well, special teams, man, key part of the game. I said no, one will not be returned. You went out on a limb and said yes, and Matt, it did not. So that's a point for me. No returns. A couple attempts, but no returns during the game.
That was another side bet. I think this was the last one. I don't think I'm going to find any more like little hidden side bets that I had, but it was that Shaheed would. I had Shaheed as an anytime scorer, so in my mind he was going to run back a kickoff or a punt. Just never happened. The Pats just did a good job of keeping him contained all game.
Yeah, and I just don't think it's that. You just don't see that much in the Super Bowl. You know, it's just not that kind of game where crazy stuff like that happens. It's a little more predictable.
Sean, that was a big payout. It was a $10 on a $10 bet. That was like a $89.90 payout. So it's pretty substantial. Never happened.
Unfortunate for you, and unfortunate for you. At this point, I'm up 4-1. So you're in tough shape, but there's still an opportunity for you to get some points. So
yeah, we got a whole Matt and halftime show ahead.
We do, but next up, how many times do they go for it on 4th down? The over-under on this was 2.5. We both took the under, thinking that they'd be less likely to gamble in this game. The thing is, there weren't a lot of competitive 4th downs. It was like 3rd and 9 all night for the Pats. They weren't going for it. It just wasn't a close enough that kind of game. We both took the under, so it's a break even. There were no 4th down attempts in the entire game, so we both get a point. I do that when we tie. We both get a point, and so that would bring our current total up to 5-2.
Yeah, again, something pretty rare in a Super Bowl. You know, you might see it toward the end if it's a blowout game, on the side that's getting buried, but not a lot of risky behavior like that. I'm trying to think if there was a key, but no, I don't know. It's just you don't see it. You don't really see it that much.
Yeah, there were barely any 3rd and 2s or 3rd and 1s, and even then, the game was so out of whack score wise that they just weren't going to
I
do it.
feel like coaches tend to be at their most conservative, unless they're Sean Payton, in that Saints Super Bowl
Right.
where he did the onside kick coming back from the half. Um, Coaches tend to be at their most conservative, I think, during the Super Bowl. And again, unless you're Sean Payton in the AFC Championship, you just don't go for it on a fourth down situation. When you're not in field goal range, you just don't.
No, unless you're Dan Campbell,
Mhm.
you're not playing it wild. Next, we had number of accepted penalties with the line set at 11.5. I took the over, you took the under, and I was very disappointed. Again, in hindsight, maybe not my best bet. It was a pretty clean game. I mean, they didn't really throw many flags, even in the first half. Most of them came in the second half in garbage time, with delays of game and things like that. There were 7 accepted penalties in the game, Matt. That's an under, and that is a point for you.
Yeah, two very disciplined teams on both side of the ball. Not a whole lot of ticky tack. Not a lot of. I think in even in the NFC Championship, you saw some penalties, but the Seahawks and Rams had beef. They had a history. They have division rivalries. This Patriots team, this Seahawks team, there wasn't really. I think there was maybe. I want to say what there was a couple of. There was one false start. I think Patriots had a false start. There was a holding. I don't think there was any pass
Yeah, there were like
interference,
no, there was
which
like
is
no
kind of
pass
crazy.
interference.
Yeah, just a very. I mean, this that Seattle defense plays a very clean game. So I wasn't surprised by this at all.
Smart call on your part. That makes it 5-3 at this point. Next, the first missed field goal. Will it miss left, right, or short? Matt, we talked about this earlier. Jason Myers, perfect on the night,
Mm.
both in extra points and field goals. And Andy Borgalis, who's the Pats kicker, was also perfect on his kicks as well. No missed kicks, so no points are awarded for this bet.
It didn't even occur to me to say like, what if what if they don't miss a kick? Uh, Yeah, didn't even occur to me. I think also it helped the game being in San Francisco. Um, not in any kind of like weather extreme environment.
Well, and there weren't any like crazy long kicks either. I'd have to look and see what the at the box score, but I don't think he kicked one like longer than 4. There weren't like 60
No,
yard kicks or anything like that.
nothing crazy. I wonder what it would be interesting to see the longest field goes. Maybe like 30. I'm gonna say like 38 to 40. I don't think there was really a 40. Maybe 36, 35, 36.
Yeah, they went 33, 39, 41,
Mm.
41, 26 were all the field goals. So they
Yeah,
were all
so
40 or
nothing
under.
more than out of 41. Yeah.
So that helped for sure. So nothing there. We're still at the same score, Matt. And now we are to the halftime set list, which I think was a bit of a gamble for both of us, not knowing a ton about Bad Bunny.
Mm.
We each picked 3 songs, as we always do. You get a point for each one that happened in the halftime. And Matt, we split this one an even 2-2. From my list, he did not do Me Porto Bonito, but he did do Monaco and DTMF. And from your list, he opened with TT Me Pregunto, so good call there. And I'm just double checking the list to get this right. Ballet.
That means
They
my aunt asked me. Mi titi mi pregunto. I looked it up.
oh
I
oh
don't know.
all right
I think titi is like a slang for like your aunt, and it's like
oh,
mi pregunto.
oh.
My aunt asked me.
Auntie asked me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, very good. Well, and you also had ballet in Innova, blah, 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 Unforgettable Dance was also played. So you got those two. You did not get I Like It. That was not played. So we split that too.
I'm very curious, Sean. What was your method of figuring out what songs he did and did not sing?
I Google right now. It's on the Wikipedia page for the halftime show. But I would literally this is 100% true. Is blogs. No, everyone's going to Google that as soon as it's done. What was the set list? It's a very common search. So they actually will create articles a week in advance. These were the songs played at the halftime show, and then they just like update it the second it's done. So within a minute, there were lists online of. It was not hard to get. And I do that, by the way. I've done that with Usher. I've done that with other artists we've done because I don't know all their songs and some come and go so quickly.
Sure.
That I need help. So that is a helpful resource.
Now I felt like I got pretty close because I also said that Cardi B was going to do a song with him. She didn't. She was there, but she didn't do a song with him. So I was like,
right.
I was excited when I saw her. Like she was part of the entourage of celebrities, the milieu of Latin artists that appeared throughout the show. But yeah, she never did a song with him. She just was kind of like in the background
hanging out.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal was there.
Pedro Pascal, yeah. And Jessica Alba, who really looks like she has not aged a day.
No, she looks great. Well, they all look great. You know, they're rich and famous.
Yeah. And Ricky Martin did a song. Should have bet on Ricky Martin. But it was not Living
and Lady Gaga as well did a song.
And Lady Gaga, yeah.
So that brings us to 7-5, Matt, heading into the conclusion of the game here, of course, with the world famous Gatorade color. I bet blue, you bet yellow. Coach Mike McDonald, in his first year as coach of the Seahawks, had yellow Gatorade dumped on him. Congratulations, Matt. Great pick there. Great pick.
Yeah. I wish I had followed my own advice when I was actually putting real money on it. The green got me there. Because the payout wasn't as good for the green. It was better for the purple. And the clear. So I bet the purple and the clear. And
I stand by. I think it's just, you know, these equipment guys are with their team all year. They know what color and flavors the guys like to drink, and that's what they put in there. And because it was yellow last year, yellow again this year. You and I, by the way, are tied all time 2-2 in picking the correct Gatorade color. And there are quite a few years we didn't do that correctly. But yeah, congratulations. Much needed point for you at this point. We're almost tied here, 7-6.
It really came down to the wire here.
It did, and we were texting live and throughout the Super Bowl. You and I sharing the score updates. Came down to the wire. I picked the Patriots to win with a score of 34-31, and Drake May being the MVP. I couldn't be more wrong. Frankly, I should have lost points for that bet. It was not good for that prediction. But Matt, you correctly picked the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, which brings your score to 7-7. You predicted a 22-19 score, which is not close enough to count as a win. By the way, only once over these years has one of us correctly guessed the score of the Super Bowl, which was all the way back in 2017. I got within like plus or minus 1 point.
It's very hard.
It came down to.
It's harder than it looks.
It's basically no. It's. I'm shocked we ever got it. Like it's basically impossible.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so at this point, Matt, it was Super Bowl evening. We were tied 7-7. You had Darnold as the MVP of the game. If Darnold was named MVP, you would have won. Unfortunately, Sam Darnold had an okay game. My vote was for Jason Myers, but as we both know, Kenneth Walker III named MVP of Super Bowl 60, resulting in no points for either of us. And Matt, in our 11th Super Bowl prop bets for the first time ever, mind you, we've never had a margin of even one between us. It's always been at least 2 points won by the winner. We have a tie.
First time ever. By the way, I don't regret I mean, I regret that I lost that particular bet, but the MVP bet, I can't get mad at myself for that. I can't kick
No,
myself
not at all.
for it is such a QB favored award that
100%.
and it's also on the other hand extremely sensible that it was not given to the QB in this case. Because like you said, Darnold had an okay night. He did not have an amazing night. Walker certainly deserved it over him. Walker, I don't know. Actually, I think Walker had um like a historic night for a running back in a Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. You know, he was
Yeah, he's the first running back to win Super Bowl MVP since 1998 when Terrell Davis won it for the Broncos.
yeah. So it doesn't happen often. And he was also, I think, the first. I could be completely making this up, but first running back to win an MVP without scoring. He didn't. I don't think he scored. Right?
That is true. He did not. No,
Yeah.
did he?
I don't think he scored. Maybe one.
I will check that. Who scored their touchdown? Well, AJ Barner scored one.
I know he almost scored, but it was called back or something.
Oh, one was so it was Borgalis or AJ Barner scored one, and then Drake May was intercepted and it was run back for a touchdown to seal the game.
Yeah,
So
it
you're
was a
right. He did
defensive
not
touchdown.
score. His final line was 27 carries for 135 yards.
Yeah, because it was
It's not even like
it was there was one I remember he was I can't remember if it was called back or I think it was maybe knocked out of his hands. He almost scored, but did not. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, very unusual. A lot of unusual happenings in this Super Bowl. But I don't regret not betting. I don't regret not taking him, even though it would have given me the win. I still think, you know, Darnold, he's the quarterback. That would have been a logical thing to do. There was one year when I got a little crazy. I think it was one of the Eagles Super Bowls recently when I predicted the Eagles would win, and I think I predicted that Saquon Barkley would get the MVP, and that never came
That
to
sounds right.
fruition. But yeah,
By the way, I'm going to put you on the spot for some trivia here. Are you ready? Can you name the last non-offense player to win a Super Bowl MVP? Defensive player, I should just say.
I used to
The
know
last defensive player.
I used to know this. I'm never gonna get the name, but I think was he on the Cowboys?
Nope. He's a linebacker, one of only 4 to ever win the MVP.
Was he on the Steelers?
No, he was not on the Steelers.
Okay, I'm not gonna do
This
that.
was
anymore.
this was a well, yeah, I'm trying to think of the reason he won was because his quarterback didn't play a particularly spectacular Super Bowl, but they really beat up the other team.
It couldn't have been the Ravens, right?
Oh, all the way back in the Ray Lewis was, but no, there's been one since. Actually, there's been 2 cents.
There's been
There's
two
been 3 cents.
two defensive players.
There's been 3 cents. There was Dexter Jackson, the safety in 2003. And then there was linebacker Malcolm Smith for the Seattle Seahawks the year they beat the Peyton Manning.
Wow.
But there was one after that.
One after, so the most recent. You're talking about the most recent defender,
The most recent defensive MVP
the most recent defensive MVP.
from Super Bowl 50.
This was. Oh, I was just gonna say. So that was Broncos Carolina. So and then Denver won. So this was
Yes.
somebody on Denver. I'm not gonna get the name though.
That's fine. No, he because Peyton Manning did not really have a great game.
Yeah.
His stat lines were not impressive, but this guy wrecked Cam Newton, and we all loved watching it. It was Von Miller.
Von Miller. Okay. Von
Your
Miller.
MVP.
Yeah. All right. Good bit of trivia there.
And so Matt, that's it. We have a tie for the first time ever.
That's it. And we probably should have thought about this and just not made an even number of categories, huh? Like that could have,
Well,
but that also
that's
wouldn't have
but that's
avoided
a
it.
problem. It's
Yeah,
not, because one of them we got no points. We
yeah.
each got
We
2
can
out of a
never avoid
possible 3.
this.
You
Yeah,
could. I'm shocked it hasn't. And like I said, by the way, if you look at our scores, we've never even been 1 point apart. It's always been 2 points or more.
and I don't know if we had any because we both scored 7, right? We're tied.
Yeah, that's low.
7?
Well,
Okay.
it's kind of low scoring. I mean, I'm looking back
Mm.
here. 2019 was 6-4. I think our biggest blowout ever was 11-6. You beat me back in 2024.
Yeah. I love Super Bowls.
Good fun. No, Matt, it was great playing against you in our little challenge here.
Likewise. Did you know next year's Super Bowl, Sean, is going to be on Valentine's Day, apparently?
Yes, it
paths will
is. A
collide.
couple of. Well, let's talk about Super Bowl 61 for a minute. A few interesting things. You're correct. It is going to be on Valentine's Day. It's also President's Day weekend for the first time. So Monday is theoretically a holiday, which will be fun. The first Super Bowl ever to be played on both Valentine's Day and President's Day weekend. It will be played at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The 9th Super Bowl hosted in the greater Los Angeles area, and the 2nd at SoFi Stadium, to be broadcast nationally by ESPN and ABC. The first time ABC will air the Super Bowl since Super Bowl XL in 2006.
Sean, who do you think is going to be in the next Super Bowl?
We talked about this
that
last week,
time.
how horribly bad we were at doing. We suck at this every year. It's embarrassing.
I've been thinking about it all week since our pre-Super Bowl show. But I want you to go first.
Well, you know what's so interesting is this was a crazy year in the NFL. This was a crazy year. Like, if we're looking back at this season, it was wild. The stars who didn't make it, the random teams that suddenly got good for no reason, and the good teams that suddenly got terrible. Wacky stuff. And if next year goes the same route, who knows what could happen? There's still a lot of changes left to be made in the draft and all these sorts of things. I don't know, man. I'm gonna let you go first because I have not thought of. I got to think about this. I have no clue.
So, yeah, it is really a crapshoot, Sean. It is. I mean, who would have thought? Who had Seahawks Patriots on their in their crystal ball? You know who did? There apparently was a guy that bet. He put up a $500,000 bet back in August that the Seahawks would win the Super Bowl, and that bet maturated into 4.2 million. He won 4.2. The guy won 4.2 million on that hot bet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Way back in August. So thinking about this now in February with the next Super Bowl a year away, I think we got to embrace the chaos here. For a while, my predictions have been pretty stable, involving the Eagles, involving the Chiefs in the mix. I thought the Ravens were going to be a lot better this year. They crapped the bed. And so what I'm saying here, Sean, I think the AFC is going to be a lot harder to predict than the NFC. I think the NFC you've got some real powerhouse dynasties in play. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go with the NFC first because I think those powerhouses are up there. I think there's a good chance you'll see Seattle back right in a new dynasty kind of emerging with them. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to embrace the chaos here. And it's not for who I think is going to be in the Super Bowl, but it's the NFC Championship. I think you're going to see an NFC Championship next year between the Rams. The LA Rams are going back, and I have them winning the championship and going to the Super Bowl. So lock in Rams for my NFC choice. But I think they're going to play the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. All right.
How about that?
This is right up there with saying Bobby Jindal's going to be president in terms of your bad bets on the show.
John,
that
the New Orleans Saints. And you know what? No, let's embrace the crazy. the Saints win that game. Let's say the Saints are going to the Super Bowl, Sean.
You're sending the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Let's send the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Are you
know what?
drunk?
Because you
My
might as
God.
well. I definitely don't think that's going to happen. That's crazy. But my former team, which might be my team once again, if they can really prove themselves here, I might jump back on the bandwagon. The New Orleans Saints, I think are going to the Super. I think they're look. The Seahawks got to have ultimate redemption this year. They got to beat the Patriots. They got to beat their division 3 division rivals in a row and win in their home stadium. Why can't the Saints get redemption against the Rams for the no call? Why can't they get the no call redemption?
If you're serious about this, and it sounds like you are, then let's put a little money on it.
Yeah.
$10. I'll give you $10.
Okay.
That says the Seahawks just have, or the Saints just have to make the playoffs. If the Saints simply play a playoff game, $10.
Okay. I will take that bet. I do firmly bet. I firmly think that the Saints will win their division because their division is hot garbage. The NFC South is hot garbage. I think
it's true, but here's the problem.
Improved enough to at least make the playoffs. Yeah,
that's
a comfortable bet. I'll make that bet.
No, here's the thing. They're going to tank. They're going to tank for a quarterback in 27.
No, why would they do that? They have Shuck.
Oh,
Tyler
Shuck's the future. Forget about it. No, the class of quarterbacks is way too good in 27.
They're not going to tank.
They're going to go for a top pick. Anyway, I'm already going to start playing.
They're playing a game in Paris this year.
Okay, yeah, that's going to really help. No, I'm looking forward to how I'm going to spend my $10. Do you want to do an AFC pick?
I do. So we got the Saints going into the Super Bowl, beating the Rams. That's going to be another one that I forget about, and I'm like, wait, what the hell?
What were we thinking? Yeah,
what was I thinking on that one? The AFC gets a little trickier here. And gosh, I have to visualize this. I should have done the NFC the same way, but I need to like.
Well, you want me to go while you're figuring this out?
I got a visual. No, I'll make the.
Make your pick on the fly
here. Ready?
Yeah.
Your AFC matchup for the AFC Championship for 2026-2027 is going to be between. Oh, there. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a mess. Okay. It's a mess.
Jaguars and Broncos.
All right.
Jags and Broncos.
And then who's going to the Super Bowl?
Broncos. Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. We're going to have a Broncos-Saints Super Bowl.
And who wins the Broncos? Are you going to go this far and then say the Saints lose the Super Bowl?
I can't do that, can I?
But you can do whatever you want.
I sadly will. I think the Broncos are going to win.
All right. So the Broncos are your Super Bowl champs next year.
I don't know. It's crazy. I think the Bills could be in there too. I think there's a case to certainly be made for maybe the Texans. They're a little bit outside looking in. I completely forgot about the Bears in the NFC. I think they also really could. Well, there could be a realistic chance of it could be Rams Bears. But you know what? I'm going to embrace the chaos. It's Broncos Saints Super Bowl.
Well, that's one of the things Goodell preaches constantly is parity in the league. Any team can win in a year, and I think that's actually very true. Maybe not the Saints, but a lot of other teams. Matt, I was thinking about this. I'm not going to go wild. There's going to be some surprise team that we're not ready for, and all of a sudden I don't even know. All of a sudden the Titans are good and they make a playoff run. Who knows? But I think it's in the NFC. The 49ers are such an interesting team. They have one of the best coaches in the league. They've got very good players. They've just had bad luck, and I gotta believe at some point that luck is going to turn around. One of these years, they've got to turn it around. They're too talented. So I've got them. And I think the Seahawks have a legitimate shot to repeat. Why not? When the Legion of Boom, back in the Russell Wilson days, was driving them to Super Bowls, they went to 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. Won one, lost one. I don't see any reason why their defense, if they hold it together, can't do the same. Darnold might even get better. in the second year, being in the system longer. Again, this was his first year there. Mike Macdonald's going to get better in his second year. They can make some off-season moves to improve the team. Why not? Seahawks, 49ers, rivals, big rivals, could be an awesome NFC championship. On the AFC side, I agree. I think the Broncos, again, strong defense, kind of a complete team. I don't see why they can't run it back. And I'm going to shout out the Ravens, a perennial playoff team that has fallen short. And I've always thought part of that was John Harbaugh. I always thought part of that was the coaching. He had just run dry. His coordinators weren't particularly good. Again, a team that is talented and underperforming. New coaches, new coordinators. Why couldn't they do what the Seahawks did? Bring in a new coach and turn it around in year one because the pieces are already there. So I've got Ravens, Broncos. I think the Super Bowl is going to be the Battle of the Birds, Seahawks, Ravens in Los Angeles, and I think the Seahawks are going to repeat as champions. That is my pick. I don't see if they can even do what they did this year and not even get better, but just repeat it. You're not going to want to play them. You're not going to want to see them in January.
All valid. I think all valid choices there, Sean. For me, the Ravens window is closed. I think that there was a tremendous amount of talent.
Well,
they just really got it. You can't lose your first like 4 or 5 games, whatever they did, and they had
a strong back half of the season. They had a strong back half of the season. I'll tell you,
you're right.
New GM, new coach. They're going to go through the draft. They're going to go through free agency. By the way,
I don't see how getting rid of Harbaugh is addition by subtraction.
And the general manager. They got rid of the general manager too, right? So they're going to have a new staff in charge. Here's the thing. I hate the Ravens. I love watching the Ravens lose. I really don't like them. So I'm not picking this because I'm a fan. It's because I think it's legit. And again, it was like the Seahawks were not a great team last year. They bring in a new staff. They bring in 1 or 2 key pieces. And all of a sudden the team turns around. Someone's going to do it, Matt. Someone in the NFL, we're going to be here 1 year from now. We're going to say, wow, I can't believe the Cardinals are suddenly good. I can't believe, whatever, pick your team, right?
Sean,
the Dolphins are suddenly in the playoffs.
Speaking of teams that had a rough start and then rebounded toward the end of the season.
Well, again, you talk about the Cardinals.
You could be talking about the Saints. You could be talking about the New Orleans Saints. They did the same thing.
Well, but they got to make moves.
They turned it around. They got Shuck into the game, and they.
But the problem with the Saints, their people management is terrible. Their talent is so I think their coach is smart. They have no valid playmakers on that team. And that's a multi-year effort if they get the right people in place to fulfill that. I mean, the Seahawks did it through the draft. The Pats had an incredible draft and free agency, and they made it to the Super Bowl on that.
What I'm saying about the Saints, why I'm up on them and why I'm buying stock is their value is low. It's the perfect storm. You got the perfect storm going on. You've got a bright coach. You've got a talented quarterback.
Not true.
That the league is not ready for. Is not ready for. He is way better. Shuck is way better than people think. Okay. And you've got perhaps the most important piece here is you've got anonymity. You have, and you also they ended the season with a decent enough loss record to put them pretty high in the draft order. They've got some good draft prospects coming in. So you got the draft prospects, you've got a great coach, you've got a talented quarterback, you've got a capable GM, you've got you've got anonymity where people are not, they don't see it coming. They don't see the Saints coming this year. I think there's no reason they can't win their division. Right? The biggest competition they have is Carolina, and they're very good on the running back.
They're on the ups. They have terrible Tampa Bay, listen,
terrible defense.
Atlanta's got a new coach. They've got great players. They got better players than the Saints do. Listen, Matt, I got an idea.
We'll have to see when the schedules drop. I don't know. Maybe they come down to strength of schedule. Could be another factor in the Saints.
Hey, listen, it's a strange division.
It is a strange division, the NFC South.
I'll make a pitch to you, Matt. We don't have to do this. It's totally optional. But we both know March Madness is coming up.
It is.
maybe we could fire up Madden and simulate the Saints. So you'll play the Saints, and I'll play the Broncos, who you think they're
Super Bowl. Okay.
And we can simulate it. And the upside is you're going to get, because I would guarantee you over our lives, you've played significantly more Madden. I've played very little Madden. So the Saints are going to have a leg up.
I like this.
And we'll simulate it, and we'll see who wins the Super Bowl.
I am. You're on, Coach.
All right,
John, you're on.
All right. I'll have to blow the dust off my Xbox and start practicing. No, this is great, Matt. Another fantastic Super Bowl is in the books, ending as all great Super Bowls should, in a tie. Appreciate everyone out there for joining us for another great year. We got a lot of great stuff coming up here on the show. Make sure you're subscribed. UpForDebate.tv has all the links. Get your podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe there. And, of course, the video version on YouTube as well, where you can see our beautiful faces. Subscribe there. Of course, you can get a hold of us. UpForDebateTV@gmail.com is our email address. If you want to send us a note or let us know your thoughts or suggestions, we want to hear them, of course. Matt is staying very busy over at the Tomorrow is Canceled headquarters. A lot going on there. Of course, live almost every week, sometimes twice a week, over at the Tomorrow is Canceled pod on Twitch. You should definitely check that out. Make sure you hit that follow button to announce when they go live. Matt, what are you ready to reveal here what our next, now that we finished Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, what we're going to do next?
Yeah, so now that we've come full circle on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, our next adventure is going to be the Case of the Golden Idol, which is a kind of a mystery artifact kind of game. But there's a little twist, because we're going to be playing two games simultaneously. I'm going to be doing Case of the Golden Idol solo, but on the weeks that my co-host, Tomorrow's Canceled co-host John, the weeks that he's available, he's a busy guy, a lawyer. He's got busy lawyer things to do. But when he's not on cases and doing his job, we are going to be playing Outer Wilds.
Wow.
And it is an Up for Debate first. John is going to be in the driver's seat, and I'm going to be his Obi-Wan, his mentor. Because I have finished Outer Wilds. He has never played it, so I'm kind of going to direct his adventure, and act as his kind of like guide through the whole thing. Outer Wilds is a space exploration / mystery game. You unravel the secrets of this universe, and why the sun. Find out reasons why the sun keeps exploding every like 15 minutes or so. The sun explodes. You got to figure out why. It's all big cosmic mystery on Outer Wilds. I don't know too much about the other game, the Case of the Golden Idol. People like it, and it piqued my curiosity. It's I know it's kind of a I think it's maybe like a little bit of a point and click, like a Lorelei. But it's set on like a Pacific Island kind of vibe, I think. So we're going to be doing those two, Outer Wilds and the Case of the Golden Idol. We're going to kind of flip flop, and you'll never know which one you're going to get until we start. So it's part of the fun.
Wow. Killer programming.
I mean, over at Tomorrow is Canceled. Yeah.
To twitch.tv/Tomorrow's Canceled pod. Again, make sure you hit that follow button to get the alerts when they go live. You don't want to miss it. It's been a ton of fun. Indiana Jones was a hoot. Really enjoyed that and excited for what's next, man. Of course, the podcast as well. It's based on the spinoff of Tomorrow is Canceled. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get podcasts when those episodes come out, because those are always a hoot as well. But I think that's about our it for our time. Like the NFL, we're heading towards the combine. We're in the off season here, and we got a lot of. We're gonna be starting up another season soon.
Who are we gonna draft for our third co-host? Who are the top prospects here? I heard that Colby is he might be a free agent.
Colby is good. I think we can do better. I'm going for Ian Eagle. I think would be great.
Yeah, if we can,
he seems like a cool dude.
We might need to trade some future picks, some future spots, but I think maybe we can land him.
Listen, Matt, the window's closing. We're in win now mode, so
what will it take to get Tom Brady?
Take about $375 million over 10 years. That's what it took Fox to get him. So, if you got that lying around when you're done fixing your basement,
in between my couch cushions,
I was gonna say, see if it's in the walls of your basement when you're opening those up.
Maybe.
No, this has been a ton of fun. No, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here. On behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We'll see you next time for another great episode of Up for Debate.